Today on Chaotic Harmony, we chat with Danny McKay, aka Danny Plans It. We chat about his journey, as well as how he's become a strong presence and his philosophy on the online space, and as well as how he is an advocate for his children in the classroom. We chat about that and more, but before we jump into it, I do apologize if you are a visual listener. If you're a video listener, there is some really bad chugging in the middle of this. And if you're an audio listener, there is an issue that happens in the last eighth of the episode where I'm stuck in your left ear. We are learning the kinks to figure this stuff out, but please don't let that deter you from watching this episode. It is a great one. So without further ado, Danny McKay. Welcome to another episode of Chaotic Harmony, episode 123. I am today your co-host, Jonathan Seligman, and I am joined today by the one who brings the fun, Jamie Jun. Hello, Jamie.
Hi everybody.
How's your Sunday going, Jamie?
It's good. Just having breakfast and getting ready to go out for plans for the day, trying to enjoy my Sunday
Very
as
nice.
of recording for today. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's right now we're recording early because we're actually talking to someone that's not in our time zone. So all that
hmm
calculations. I'm doing well though, but thank you for asking. But we have today a special guest. If you've listened to the other episodes, you know who's here. It is everyone's favorite person, Danny McKay. Hello, Danny.
Woohoo!
Hi, everyone. Oh my goodness. I am so excited to finally be here. I was just telling you guys off the chat, like I've been listening for so long and now I get to be on the show and it feels very full circle. So I'm so excited.
It's funny. I feel like I found you around the same time you found us. And so it's been like
Oh,
this like mutual love given whatnot. And also I found out recently that your name is not Danny Plans It. Like I always thought that was your name because that's what's on
Oh,
TikTok.
well,
So
it's definitely confusing. The kids at first were very confused. No. Yeah, I mean, I've had some existential crises with my handle, but it's fine. It's a staple of who we are and an acknowledgement of the journey we've had online. So I love it. I
that's
love it.
fair. That's fair. So to our listeners, as a reminder, this is Chaotic Harmony, the show where we talk about the joys, struggles, and all things adjacent to elementary music. A bit of housekeeping before we get into this wonderful episode with Danny. We had Mark, Sasha, and myself last week talking about systems. And so essentially, how do we keep the classroom and a teacher's brain clean and efficient? If you missed that episode, go back and check it out. But next week, Sasha will be leading the conversation on why are children's books important in the music classroom. Sadly, I will not be on that episode. I wish I was, because all I do is I use textbooks for my classroom. I pull out Norton's Anthology of Western Music. That's what we do. We just like sit down in chairs. We just
I'm
read.
not surprised.
No, I'm just kidding, y'all. But I am curious to see what y'all talk about. That all said, as I mentioned, Danny, I've been following you for a while, and I've wanted to have you on for a while. We are only recently shifting into the online space, and now we can finally have you to chat with us. But I also not only found out that your last name is not what I thought it was, but also I only recently found out you're in Texas. So I'm learning a lot already, even though I've followed you online for quite a bit. So for Jamie, myself, and our listeners, can you just tell us, since I didn't know much about it, can you tell us about your program, where you teach, how long you've been teaching, what kind of music classroom you have, the program notes?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like I am a Texas native, born and raised. I grew up kind of a little bit of everywhere, but I mostly did like my music career mostly took place in the Austin area. That's where I joined band for the first time and became not became a musician, but that's where I discovered that I loved being a musician. And from there, I, played the French horn all throughout high school, and I did college at the University of North Texas in Denton. And that's where I discovered that I really loved elementary music. I thought I was going to be a middle school band director, and then I had an amazing professor, Don Taylor, who opened up the world of elementary to me. And it was kind of like this situation where I discovered I knew I was a good musician, but when you get into that collegiate setting and you meet all the other great musicians that are there, you get really freaked out because like all of a sudden I was the little fish in the big pond versus the
Mm-hmm.
big fish in the little
Yep.
pond.
I felt
And
the same. Yeah.
yeah, I was struggling. I just like couldn't figure out who I was, and like it just felt like everyone was better than me. But then I got into that elementary methods class, and like we were like pretending to be kindergartners, and like all of these people who I knew were going to be amazing high school band directors one day were like struggling, and I was thriving. And I was like,
Oh.
wait, am I good at this? Is this something that I'm like really like the best at, in a way? And it just felt like all these little doors kept opening. So I changed my degree because at UNT they have this really great thing where I could, even though I was a band person and I was technically going to like student teach at a middle school and high school band program, I could adjust my degree a little bit. And I could take some elementary methods courses. I could take some voice lessons and join a choir or two. And then I was actually able to student teach at not just a middle school band program, but also an elementary school classroom, music classroom. And from there, I got connected with an amazing mentor teacher in the area. And I knew, like, I told my middle school band placement, I was like, hey, I love this and I'm so excited to learn from you, but I just want you to know I'm getting a teaching job in elementary music. So like, and he was like, this is great. We'll just have fun for 9 weeks and then I'll let you go do your thing. So that brings us to my first year teaching. I taught in the DFW area for oh God, now the math, for 5 years before my husband and I relocated back to Austin, Texas, where I've now been teaching. This is year 8. This is year 8 of elementary music, and I'm not looking back.
Ooh.
I love it with every fiber of my being. It's who I am. It's the place where I thrive and where I'm an expert, and it's the music that I love to make. Because I also have my ORF certification. I got it at SMU. I finished level 3 a couple of years ago. Can't remember. And this is how I love to make music. This is how I love to share music with kids. This is how I love to interact with children and develop their musicianship with that creativity focus, that connection between movement and music and singing and speaking. And this is where I was meant to be. And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm so lucky I get to be on the Chaotic Harmony podcast, the elementary music podcast. So I'm so excited.
Yay. I
And
just
that's
feel like,
Danny.
yeah, I feel like your story is so similar to mine. Like almost everything you were saying is like, yep, 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 yep. That was me. Like, I actually didn't think I was gonna be an elementary music teacher until I started the job, actually.
Ooh. Wow,
Yeah, but
that's
I
even
was in a very,
crazier.
I know, I was like, I was thinking, I don't know what I want to do with when I go to university. I don't know what major. Well, I guess my mom's a music teacher, so I was like, I guess I love kids and I guess I love music, so I guess I'll be a music teacher. But I thought it was going to be middle school band
Mhm.
because I was in flute, I was in orchestra, I was in marching band, I was in all those ensembles. And then I was in middle school band teaching student teaching for a whole year. That's how we do it in Sacramento State University. And then I was like, yeah, this is okay. I didn't feel that like connection
Yep.
till I started teaching elementary music. And then when I actually started, I was like, oh my gosh, this is where I belong.
Hmm.
And I feel like so many teaching candidates have the same like idea of what we're going to do in teaching music like you and I have, where and actually like a few of our colleagues on this podcast kind of feel similar. I feel like it's such a staple thing that keeps happening to almost every elementary music teacher I know. My mentors say the same thing. I thought I'm going to teach middle school band or high school band or high school choir. And then we start elementary music and it's like, boom.
Boom. I'm actually curious. Like,
Hmm.
so growing up, like, I know for myself, jumping on what Jamie shared, I thought I was going to be doing high school because I didn't have elementary music. Did you have elementary music growing up?
Like, did the specials exist? Yes, but like not in the way that we, I think, as teachers facilitate a music classroom today. Like, I have two like big memories, and one was being in a choir and they asked if like anybody could speak Spanish to sing this song, and I was like, yes, I can speak Spanish. I cannot speak Spanish. And then I went home. I went to home to my mother, and I was like, hey mom, I know you told me a story about speaking Spanish, so I need you to help me learn this Spanish song. And my mom was like I am a white Southern woman in Texas. What made you think that I speak Spanish? It's like you told me, and she's like, I told you a story about how I cheated in Spanish class with my friend to pass the class. Not, and I was like, so you can't speak. And this is like I'm literally in like third grade, like, and I'm spiraling about needing to sing this song in Spanish. It went fine. The teacher taught the Spanish like good teachers do, and we had a great time. But I have that memory, and then I remember in fifth grade. I'm sure there was a recorder in my hand, and we were singing a
Classic.
song about a crescendo. It was like crescendo, crescendo, from less
Ah,
soft to loud. Like I don't know what CD she was using, but I mean she was trying her best, and
Hmm.
and we love that for her.
mm,
You know, it's
yeah.
funny. I feel like so. I have a friend of mine. He grew up in Colorado, and similarly, the only thing he remembers is an elderly woman who played piano, and they sat around her and they just like listened to her play music. But the song
Yep.
that he remembers the most is this little activity that where there was the song Popcorn, and they were like growing with the music. And I feel like that's how we remember the music. We remember through the fun stuff, not necessarily through the Norton Anthology of Western Music. Sorry about that. But did you have to use
I'm
that
not
book?
Funny you
sorry.
mentioned that.
But
Funny you mentioned that. There's a beginning band piece called Popcorn where each instrument pops up.
that's
Yeah, they
cool.
just stand up and pop up to like play their part. And then I recently found a piece by Randall Standridge, I think, called Frogs, like frogs.
Frogs.
And just
Ooh.
listening to it sounds hilarious. And I'm so excited to play that with my middle school band.
Yeah, it's dope. You have
But
a Gary Gate.
yeah, a later time. Tell us more about yourself.
Well, first off, actually, Danny, before you do that, I'm curious. Do you have a shout out of a specific teacher that you had?
Oh Lordy. I mean, but I have so many teachers in my life, and not even my music teachers, which like my band director, Johnny Lang, wherever you are, I doubt you're listening to this, but you are an incredible human being. Thank you for everything you did for me. You're wonderful. You and your wife, they worked together, they taught me everything. I just feel like they taught me more so than like being a good musician. It was just like how to be a good human even a good teacher. Like these are teachers who did everything. I mean, they sacrificed their literal like lives to be not like okay, I mean like their personal lives to be with us and to give us a good program. And so definitely them. I mean, but like I feel like a little bit more about my background without being too like trigger warning. I grew up in a household where I experienced a little bit of trauma. There was some abuse in the home that I've kind of come to terms with later in life as an adult. As a teacher, reflecting back on my experience, I'm like, oh wow, if I was a teacher, I would probably would report that. But teachers have always saved me. Like I
Mm.
have a librarian at the elementary middle school where we moved away for a couple months to flee a situation that wasn't safe for us, but that teacher found my mailing address and mailed me a personal copy that they bought for me of a book that I had checked out but didn't get to check out because we had to leave so suddenly. And then I have there's a language arts teacher in seventh grade who did something similarly. I still have a book somewhere of pictures from a third grade teacher who we had to leave, and she sent me a whole picture book of all of the whole year that we had together. It was her first year teaching, I now know, because I got to reconnect with her as a teacher. I worked in the same district with her,
Oh, that's
and it was
cool.
her first year teaching, and
Wow.
so that was really a full circle moment. Was like
I
getting to
bet. Wow.
reconnect with her, uh and like I've had the chance to thank them for that, and I'm like, I don't think they realize how much that saved me. And so thank you to all those teachers and to any teacher that's doing more than the job ask of you. I mean, you are literally saving children's lives. So thank you to all of you.
I see a theme of this podcast, full circle, is what's going on here.
Yeah, I've had a lot of those moments, and it's really really special, like to have that moment.
Hmm. I feel like there is something there that I want to get back to, but I'll save it for another part of the podcast. Is there before we jump to the next question, is there like something that for you that really stuck with you when you went into that sorry, you didn't go into the kindergarten class. You were acting like kindergartners. Was there something that's really stuck to you other than like the fact that, hey, I'm actually good at this? Was there something that really spoke to you that made you decide this is where I want to be?
I mean, it really was this idea that like we could be playing a game and turning that into learning. I mean, that to me was just so prolific that play and learning could happen, at the same time. Because I feel like as a a high school kid, like you literally grow up in band being told like sit down, back straight, stand at attention when you're supposed to. Like it's very, very militant in a
Mm-hmm,
way,
mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, yeah.
that was so eye-opening to like be like, okay, so you're gonna stomp around like a frog with these kindergartners, but then that's gonna turn into steady beat drum playing, which in first grade you're going to identify as a quarter note to teach rhythm. And I was just like, this what why are more people not talking about, like, this is incredible, like,
I know.
why? I mean, you could, because then that becomes the trumpet playing, which goes into the orchestra. I'm like, this is mind blowing. And so that really was what was not only being an expert at it, but just like I fell in love with that, with the imaginative play that becomes this standard structure of learning that we get taught. And that's why I was like, I have to be part of this. I have to get some skin in the game and be a part of this process, because it's incredible.
I love that. And it seems like you don't just have play in the classroom. It seems like you have play everywhere, which includes also in the
Yeah.
online space, which is where I first met you. Like, it seems like you have a really strong knack in the social media sphere. I don't think that's even questionable. Like, you got something there. Actually, the fact that also you are, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the social media, not specialist, but that is your position on the ORF board when you're at. Is that correct?
Yes. I work with the Capital Area Orphan in Austin, Texas, and that's a recent development. I was just like, hey guys, I kind of do this on the side already. If you want me to use the skills that I've already created and help make some content to give us a little bit of more of a face online, because I feel like if you're not doing that, you're missing so many connection points with people and with
Yeah.
teachers.
Yeah.
So I was like, sure, yeah, I'll do it. So yeah, I
They
mean,
they know about your posts or about your
like
online
before or
presence?
after, or do they know
Or
now?
did you offer and then they found out?
I can't remember. I think because I took a year kind of off when we moved, just because I wasn't ready to commit to more like orth things at the time. I was just like, I just need to be in
Yeah,
my
that makes
classroom
sense.
and I need to be
Yeah.
home. I can't be a part of like this group that's going to take, several weekends or whatever. And then we
A
had
lot
like
of
this like
volunteering.
social, exactly. So we had
Mm.
this social at the end of the year. Uh, we went out to eat, and I think one person was like, "Oh my god, I've seen your posts. Like, I love them so much."
Ah,
I was like, thank you." But I was just like getting to know people, and they were like, "Do you want to help out more?" And when I lived in DFW, I was also on the board, kind of doing something similar. It wasn't socials; it was more just like the newsletter that we have go out every couple months. So I was just like, let me try this. But now they're all my biggest fans. I mean, they literally at the end of our session, our workshop yesterday, were like, and Danny's gonna be on Chaotic Harmony tomorrow. But I was like, oh my god, please don't do this. I know I seem like
you're
I
gonna
want to be the
share.
center
You're
of
gonna share. You're
attention,
gonna share.
but in person, it's a lot different than when I'm on my camera at home and then I post it to Instagram and whatever.
Sure, sure. No, I
You're
mean,
really good at it.
you
Yeah.
are like a
Thank
hundred,
you.
like 100%.
Thank you.
Like I'm guessing when you approached Michelle on the grass, them, it's like, here's my CV. Lo and behold.
I mean, that's kind of what I do. I mean, I'm just like,
Here's
because
my
I also
Instagram.
help
Here's
out
my
with,
TikTok.
yeah, I help out with socials with my local gay men's chorus that I sing a part of, and I was just like, I have a following. I do this already. Like, if you want me, I'll do it. If you don't want me, then I'll do something else. And I think it speaks for itself. But uh,
So
I'm my
what
own
got you
worst critic. So y'all,
started?
yeah. So it's really a weird. It's almost like a second like program notes in a way. The
Yeah.
pandemic happened. The pandemic happened, and I was home alone and bored. And I had a friend who got me into like journaling, like using paper, notebooks, planners. And I discovered that there was this whole community of people who loved planners and loved talking about like pens and paper. So I created Danny Plans It to be an account about planning
Ah,
and stationery. And I was posting, but like there were already these people who had been posting in the space for years, these beautiful pictures of their artwork that they had made with their fountain pens and their brush pens or what have you. And so I was just like, this isn't really my vibe. Like my aesthetic's a little bit more type B, a little bit more grunge. Like I'm not the picture perfect picture. My classroom's not clean. So I was just like, what am I gonna
been
be? And so I
there.
posted a reel. Yeah, I posted a reel. I was just like made a silly video about like how I'd spent too much on pins that month or something, and all of a sudden my little 200-person account had gotten 1,000 views and gained 100 followers, and I realized that I had something there that I needed to continue because at the time 2020 Reels was still really new.
Mm.
TikTok had just taken off. There were a whole bunch of big like TikTokers take on in the space. And so I was just like, okay, let me do this. And so for like 2 years straight, I made mostly just that kind of content. And it felt like I was like, I had this double life where like online I was like planners and pens, and then I would go to my job and I would be a music teacher full time. And so slowly it just got to the point where I was sharing more and more about my life, and then it became one, and I was just like,
Mm.
I'm a teacher that loves stationery, and then now I still love stationery, but now I've kind of created this space that's for teachers, for music education, for advocacy, for all people. And It's really beautiful. And I just feel like I've come full circle uh, and become what I wanted. I think I loved my upbringing in the planner community, but I love that I get to now share so much more of myself in my life and just what I have opinions on and what I have perspective on now as a teacher creator rather than a planner creator, as they would call it back in the day.
I feel like your handle still fits. You plan as a teacher, so
Yeah,
Danny plans
Yeah.
it.
And I
I've
think
experimented with some name changes, but then I'm like, let's just keep it. I love it too much.
it's a staple now.
I'm thinking about that too. Yeah. Well, I'll talk about that later. But sorry, John, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. My, what you said something. You mentioned like that you're more grunge, and like I think that's kind
Oh
of
yeah, what do you mean by that?
well, actually, yeah. But what do you mean by that?
What do you mean by grunge?
Because that has a lot of different. I think it's just like there are some music teachers out there who do it very well. They make beautiful slides that they put on Teachers Pay Teachers every week. They have
Yeah.
every single thing in their classroom labeled and it has a place. And I have my moment, my type A moments, but I am type B to a T. I mean, I'll find my recorder next to my coffee mug in a closet because I left it there because for 10 seconds I was like, oh, I need to grab this maraca. Like I'm just that kind of teacher. And like there'll be a stack of papers that's piling up and the kids are like, Mr. Danny, do you want to like do something about that? I'm like, okay, if the kids are calling me out on it, it's time to change it. Like
Hey,
I am the
hey,
teacher that still has to, yeah.
I feel like it's your organized mess because I do the same thing. If you know where it is, it's still a type of organization.
Exactly. And it doesn't
Yeah.
ruin the learning environment. The kids still learn all the
No.
things that need to happen. I don't have everything labeled. And sometimes my coffee mug sits in a corner for a couple of hours and I forget about it, which is why I use like insulated mugs so that it's still hot when I remember it 5 hours later. Like we're a
Hmm.
little different, but we achieve the same goal. So
I
I'm
feel
not I'm
Yeah.
not I'm not worried about it.
I feel very affirmed by this.
Me too.
I have so
I
many
just feel like the
colleagues.
type A teachers are getting all the credit. And I'm like, we are out here thriving in chaos. We are creating harmony in chaos.
Chaos. Yes. Full
like
Full
circle.
circle.
we are valid too. You may not buy my slides because I use the same slides that I bought 4 years ago, but the stuff that's in those slides, you'll love it. You would love it if you could see it, but I can't share it because I can't figure out, I don't have that.
You-
The same thing, the same Google Slides template over and over and over.
I'm running on 4 years with this Google Slide. The kids are like, I had to find one that did not have any holidays on it because I was like, I cannot have turkeys and it be like March. So it's just boho, rainbow, and I've stuck with it. And I'm like, this is what you get.
Mm-mm. I I whenever I look at other people's TikToks or reels in the teacher space, I never had a name for it, but it was always like it felt too quote unquote perfect, and that was their own authenticity. But at my personal authenticity did never aligned with it, and that's why I think I really did align with your stuff because maybe I wouldn't call it grunge, but I see what you you saying that is like
Grunge was a little aggressive. Grunge was a little
but it's
not the
messy.
right word, but
It's messy. It's like, but
yeah.
it's authentic and like
Organized mess,
yes,
Yeah.
chaotic
Oh,
harmony.
chaotic
yeah, the
harmony.
organized chaos. Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's why I resonated with it. I was like really, I got tired of the only videos I saw were either about A, look at my clean room, or B, look at how terrible my kids are. And I didn't,
Mm.
align with any sphere.
Ugh.
And to see someone like you, like I showed my partner the Labor Day. The Labor Day one just kills me. The one is eyes on me. No, not the cafeteria. Hocus pocus. It's like, that is
And,
so real.
and
Oh, and
it's just
go
that
ahead, go ahead.
relatable that teacher experience. Like it's my philosophy with my channel has kind of become like I can love my job and also like critique it too. Like I'm not just gonna go on here and be like these kids are bad, but like we can all relate to the Friday that nobody would listen or that I had
Uh,
to tell little Johnny to move spots 20 times because I couldn't get them to get along with anyone, or no matter where I sat them. But in the
Yeah.
end, it's still like this understanding that like I love the job, like I wouldn't have it any other way. Like that's what makes me an expert. Is I'm like I know what to do when little Johnny won't. I can't get him into a spot, but we can still all share in that moment. And be like, yep, I had that Friday too.
it's always Johnny.
Cheers. It's always.
Jamie, you were gonna say something.
Uh, it was just reminding me of one of your recent posts of like this is why teachers need to like take a break or something, and you're trying to read a storybook to the kids, and it's like this is what we're reading today. Nope, you got to sit here, and oh, and this is the next page, and like no, oh good, I'm glad you're celebrating birthday, and there's this other page where we're all these
Crisscross
things,
applesauce. I mean caramel sauce. Whatever.
caramel
Whatever.
Whatever.
sauce.
Just sit.
Yes,
Just sit,
whatever.
please.
Just sit down. I know. So I guess that kind of relates to something like you wanted to build a connection with relatability with your audience. Is that part of your goal with continuing to your why of continuing creating this content with your videos?
I am so sorry. My computer skipped out on me. Can I get you
Oh
to
no.
say that just the last little bit again? I know about creating community. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Is that part of your why for continuing to have this online presence?
Yes, I think like posting like my first like type B teachers hop in the chat reel made me realize like there's a lot of people feeling kind of like what you said, John. Like I just cannot relate to the things that I'm seeing online. Like I'm so thankful that we have these people who make like the type A's are really helping the type B's. Like, sure, please let me buy your labels because God knows I will not make them. Like it's
Yes.
just not gonna happen. So thank you for having them, but like there needs to be space for the person that is trying to have fun with the kids but can't find their recorder because it's in their back pocket still. And so that's why I just decided that I think that this Danny Plans it's advocacy. It's the space where people can go for a good laugh and a reminder that like we're all in it together. I'm not the only one who's had to tell a kid to stop licking the floor today. And that's okay. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You get a lot of responses or comments back that like in your messages and stuff about your content.
Some more than others, just depending on whether it's like something really, really popular. Like I feel like the videos we're kind of talking about, the two that are about like just like this teacher experience, have definitely gotten a lot more comments, a lot more DMs, and then there's others that don't. But that's what made me keep going, has just been people being like, oh my God, thank you so much for saying this. Or even the ones I posted kind of like advocating for elementary music as a whole. I've had people say, like, you're giving me the words to say to the people in my circle that I'm kind of like, I don't want to say battling against because we're all in this together, but just giving you the words to
Yeah,
advocate for your program. And so those DMs have
exactly.
made me realize that, like, Danny plans it, the space is special and I need to keep this going. Because my husband's like, what are you doing? Like, I'll be honest, like, I I'm not making as much money online as I have in the past. Like in the last year or
Sure.
two, I was making some money that made it feel like, oh, this channel is, a business. But then this year it hasn't. But I've made so many strides in the community aspect that I just like I can't give it up, because if I just stopped, I just feel like, where would we all go? Where would we go? All of the type Bs. We need
What
to
about us
we
type
need to
B
stick together.
people?
Yeah, like, I need a place where I could say, like, yeah, I definitely, I forgot my backpack in my teacher bestie's classroom again, and I had to go send a kid to go get it or something, like.
I'm
Hmm.
curious, as
Mhm.
someone, as people who are listening to this who might want to jump into this, who are also as grunge as we are. Um, what is your approach towards, like, how do you get you said you're not making as much money. Like, how does that work? Because you said you're not you're not doing TPTs. So how does that work in the social media space? Getting money.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. There's so many with the ways you could go with this
Sure,
question. I
sure.
just like I think, one, like, you have to start just by thinking about, like, why am I posting? Like, what is my goal for this? Because at first, when I first started, way back in the planner community, it was just to build connection. Like, I was just looking for people to connect with, because it was literally 2020. All I had was my husband and my dogs and my roommates, and I was like, I need something a little bit more. After
Yeah,
a while, you
yeah.
need something more. And so it started out as just that. And if that's what it is for you, that's going to affect, like, you're not going to worry about posting 3+ times a week. And you're not going to worry about, like, getting to your comments right away, because they'll be there when you have the space for it,
Mm.
things like that. If your goal is to, be a thought leader and to put things out there, then the content that you're going to be posting is going to be different. You're going to be sharing your expertise and making posts that connect to maybe TPTs that you've made, or TPTs that someone else has made that you're wanting to share out, because it's going to help people. And then, of course, if you are, like, trying to make money outside of, like, the teacher paid resources TPT community, then you're going to also be pitching yourself to brands. Like, you're going to be in Sharpie's DMs asking them, like, hey, I'm a teacher, I have a space, a community I think would really resonate with your products. Here are my ideas on, like, a reel or like a video or collaboration we could have. Would you be interested? And honestly, I think the only reason why I haven't made money this year is just because I haven't been doing that. I think, for me, my focus this past year has been building the community. And so I do post on a schedule, try to post a couple times a week, and I do try to make quick response to comments, because I want this to be a space where people know that when they comment, that they're going to get responses and that they're going to get interaction and get resources or just ideas or commiseration if that's what you need. And so that's what I think my challenge is to anyone that wants to be in this space, that wants to start the, Miss Sasha makes music on TikTok or whatever. Why? And not in a critical way, just why. If you want to just make connections, get on your For You page and build those connections. Get on the screen and talk to your people. Or talk into the void, if you will, because at first you're like, I don't have people, right? You have to find the people.
Yeah.
And then let it go from there. Let it
Mm-hmm.
go from there.
Mm.
Cool. I'm curious also, on top of that, do your kids, have your kids found you?
Uh, uh,
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. I have been posting now long enough that I have had to kind of deal with that at like 3 different schools.
Mm.
I
Oh,
It's not something I like advertise. Like I'm not like, hey kids, I post on TikTok, go follow me. Definitely not. And personally, my boundary is I tell the kids, you can find me, but the minute you comment, the minute you like something, and it says little Emmy Rock, 222, I'm like, oh, that's so cute that you have a TikTok block. Like I love you, but you're not supposed to be on this. I've told them, I'm like, you're on here illegally. There is an age limit, and none of you are the correct age to be
Mm.
on this platform. So it's an immediate block. And I have reported some of my kids' accounts. I'm like, hey, you are literally on here illegally. I love you, but like you're not supposed to be on here. So
you
that's just kind of
warned
been
them.
my
Yeah.
and I do, and I have literally their kids are like, I found your TikTok, and I said, that's great. If you comment, I will block you. Like if you like it,
Yeah.
if you DM me, I will block you. I love you so much, but you're not supposed to be on there. So that's just kind of been my thing. But my antithesis to that is that I also talk to kids like when you tell me, I want to be a YouTube streamer one day. Like I'm like, that's great. I'm so excited for you because you can do this. You can find money and find community and make a
Yeah.
profession out of these really cool spaces that a lot of people aren't taking seriously. So I
Mhm.
have had those conversations, but then I also am able to advocate for the other, parts of getting an education. I'm like, well, then you need to make sure you're paying attention in your writing class so that you can make good captions that are going to go viral. And you need to make sure your math is good so that you can, check your statistics and your follower count and your earnings that you're making online so that you can make sure that your business is making money. So like this is a real
Mhm.
profession, you could have
Mm.
it. So I've been able to have some really fun conversations with the kids. But yeah, I do have a boundary. Do not interact with me.
That's a good boundary. I like
Eh,
that.
Yeah,
So
that
sorry to
makes sense.
our video listeners, man. There is some chugging frames at the moment, so I apologize. I know we only have 4 watchers, but alas, um, yeah. Right now, it's just is what it
It's
is.
like I'm one of them, I promise.
Yeah.
Me too.
I'm still learning how. We're still learning how to navigate this new space on the video. Um, so something I admire about you, Danny, is that you are 100% who you are. And I think maybe that, I guess that, back to that authenticity piece I was sharing earlier, I really admire that. And the fact that you advocate for, you don't hide behind any facade. You are an advocate for the child. You're an advocate for music education. You're also an advocate for being who you were made to be. Um, as educators that care about the whole person, how do you give room back? So we've been in the online space, now bring it back to the classroom space. Like, how do you give room for kids to accept who others are and who they are?
That is a tough question. I mean, like I am a proud gay man. I'm a member of the LGBTQIA community. My pronouns are he, him, but I have trans family members. I have friends that are trans. I have a huge queer community that I've gained by singing with the Austin Gay Men's Chorus, which has been such a beautiful experience. Uh, and I do feel like my upbringing, the things that I've gone through, the trials that I've gone through, have made me just this really proud person. And I don't think I realized what the effect that I've had on people until I joined social media. I mean, I've had people like post, like I post a video about, coming to work and every day and like, how it like Monday feels like it took 4 days and then Tuesday feels a little longer. And I just am existing, right? And I'm sharing this relatable teacher experience. And then I get a troll in my comments who's like, oh my God, who's letting this gay man in front of children? And I'm like, yes, I am a gay man, but am I'm just a person, and
Yeah.
the very idea of my existence and my mannerisms and the fact that my voice isn't it isn't very masculine, and that I like to speak with my hands makes some people make these judgments, but it also allows me to be very visible in this space. So I've made connections with other teachers who are queer and who are like, I haven't seen a teacher who is as fiercely as themselves as you are, especially living in Texas. And I hold that very close because I don't think I met an adult that I was aware of that was even just living outside of these social norms of what we think masculinity is and things like that. And so, you know, just being honest, like I don't with my elementary kids, like I don't talk about being queer. Uh that's just not something that comes up, but I am who I am, and if I'm the
Yeah.
first time that a kid sees an adult that has a voice that isn't super low, a man that is a super low voice, or the first time they have a conversation with an adult who says that, I love to dance and I love, the color pink and those little things that kids think, because, we've all experienced it. Like,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
at kindergarten in 2025, when you bring up the color pink, there are still boys that say, ew, that's a boy, that's a girl color. And then there are still girls that will say, oh my God, I can't believe you're wearing pink. That's a girl color. Like, we still live in that world.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so to just even be a little bit of a challenging voice that says, well, no, anybody can wear this color. And we
Hmm.
should respect everyone who makes choices and to do what they want and to like who they like, to like what they like. And I think that's kind of where I am. I think everybody as a teacher like kind of has to figure out what that is for them, especially depending on where you live and things like that. So, but that's what I am. That's who I am. That's what I do.
I feel like the way that you go about it is like you're not in their face about it. If the topic comes up, then you talk about it. Or if they say certain comments, then you don't really you're not really confronting it. It's more like you're challenging and questioning,
Yeah,
like,
Mm-hmm.
wait, let's look a little deeper. Why do you think that? Or, well, actually there are these other people who also wear pink.
Yeah.
In a
exactly.
similar way. Yeah, exactly. I have years ago, our Sacramento Kings, they were purple as their colors. And
Mm-hmm.
then for some reason, a kid was saying, like, purple is a girl's color. I'm like, what are you talking about? The Sacramento Kings, they wear purple or whatever. Wait, what color is this? Or what do these people wear? It's like, let's challenge that sort of thinking, or like let's
Hmm.
look a little deeper into that, but in a very educational way.
Oh.
Yeah,
Um,
that's my bad. My bad.
I unfortunately don't remember the last thing we were talking about before I pieced out.
Oh, we were talking about has it been uh difficult to navigate some of those topics in
Mm.
other spaces.
Yeah.
Those challenging topics that you had with your we were just talking about these topics with your children. How about in other spaces?
Yeah, Jamie,
And I just
you were
yeah,
sharing kind of
go.
like from your perspective. It's not so much that it's more so like your challenge. Yeah, that's it. You're talking about the Kings. You're talking about like how we challenge through just simple ideas. Because feel like
Yeah.
a lot of people
Oh, so that's when you lost us.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Um,
that's around the time you got frozen.
mm,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Just jumping on that, like I think that a big part of people's perception of like teachers, that are inserting their own their own agenda. Like that's not really what we do. We actually are just taking what kids are saying and are challenging. Wait, maybe there's a different way to see it. Not saying they're right or wrong per
Exactly.
se, because sometimes they are, sometimes they
Hmm.
aren't. But but in a broader scheme, well, what about this? What about this idea? Like any other teacher would do, and we're just talking about the color pink. Yes.
Or any color, really, because it's
Exactly.
like here's
Yeah.
this example of like these men wearing these so-called colors and these women wearing these so-called
Mm-hmm.
colors. Yeah, what it's a real life example that kids and everybody sees anyway,
Right.
outside of the classroom, outside of what we do.
But I
So,
really like what you said, John, about just because the word indoctrination gets brought around so much, and it's just like
yeah.
teachers are not. coming in, like you said, with an agenda. Like we have standards that we're teaching. If you want our agenda, you can Google it right now and find our agenda, like what we're supposed to do. I could send you my lesson plans if you're really worried about what I'm singing with the kids. Like they're all there. Like we're not, but we do have to deal with what happens in our classroom. And I'm sorry if a child tells me, "How dare you wear pink? It's a girl color." Like I have to say something, because they cannot continue to be like aggressive in a kid way, because there's going to be a kid that comes in one day wearing pink, and they're going to make them feel bad or feel embarrassed. And we have to live in this. We have a classroom community, whether you like it or not, whether you think SEL belongs in the classroom or not. We have a community in our classroom that we have to live and thrive and learn in. And if we cannot do that if we do not challenge someone's idea when it is like problematic, when it hurts others.
When it
Excuse
hurts
me.
Exactly.
others. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Our job is to make it a safe environment for everybody. And if
Hmm.
their actions and words are hurtful to others, to their peers, then that's breaking that social agreement of our community.
Hmm. I like this. I feel like we can chat about this for this. I feel like, Danny, I'd love to have you actually on this topic more. Because, and also other friends as well, because the three people is not enough. Like, I think of being
Yeah,
having.
like a panel, that would be great. And
Mhm.
I'm only one perspective. I mean, there, like I said,
Not
there's a whole.
enough.
You were
I'm
part of
so
enough.
sorry. I like.
Yeah. So I guess then, just because this is the Danny episode, or the grunge episode, or the full circle, we're not sure yet.
The full
Um,
circle.
uh, if you have, because I know you teach in a divisive state. Is that the terminology? I know in California we're just weird. But
It's. I mean, that's what I think the world would. I think that's what the
okay,
the U.S. would say about Texas. I
okay,
mean, like I said, I've lived in two metroplexes,
sure.
and you find your people, you find your circle. So like,
Hmm.
it doesn't necessarily always feel that way, but I mean, you've seen the headlines.
Yeah.
Things are wild in the wild wild west.
It's a big state.
It's a
Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
it's a big state.
I shared this with when I was chatting with Olivia Ramirez. Like, I did not realize how big Texas was until I had to drive through. Is oh my goodness! Like, I'm
Yeah,
driving. There's still more. There's still more.
yeah,
Yeah.
I wonder if people feel
yep.
the same thing
And
in
there's
California, but it's massive. Wow, it's massive. I but I guess back to my question before I derailed myself. Um, uh,
type B, type B. That's what we do.
Yeah,
you know, it's
that's
so
what we
That's
funny.
what
do.
we do.
I love how you're using the term type B, because I feel like for me, type B has always been juxtaposed against type A. Type A is always someone who's very organized. Type B is everybody else. And the way you're stating type B, it's like people who deal with the chaos and meld with the chaos. So I love that. But
I feel
like,
like type B are the people who organize the chaos, and type C are the actual chaotic people. C for chaos. Type C.
It's that chaotic good, chaotic evil,
it's
lawful good. We're somewhere in
Yeah,
there we
you know
go.
what I mean? Like we're somewhere in there.
exactly.
We're not naming
Hmm.
names, but uh, to the individuals who are newer to the profession, and want to be advocates for their kids, but feel like they are pinned down by either their administrators as they're concerned about what they can or can't say. What are some parting words of courage that you would give to those people?
It it is it's a hard ask. I think it depends on the person. I think as when I speak to like this question to other queer people, I'm always like, your safety comes first, especially living in Texas. Like, you have to know you're in the right company to say the things, ask the questions, to advocate the needs. And if you're not with those people, then I don't think that you have to feel obligated to, as like, I am the queer person in the room, I need to make sure that I'm advocating. You don't have to do that. If you need safety, then you do what you need to be safe. My challenge then would be to allies, to people who have privilege in that way, where you you have the ability to speak to people that are going to listen in a different way that they listen when they hear me. Because like when they hear me, they're like, well, yeah, of course you're going to say that. You're part of the community, you know. But when and so that's I think just I have like two different trains of thought. And so when I talk to queer people, I'm like, I need you to be safe. And so if you don't feel safe in the space that you're in, I would challenge you to the best of your abilities to find that space. I think that's a decision I made early on in my career. Like I was not going to work in an environment that I could not be open in the workplace. Like I need to be able to talk about my husband the way that you talk about your husband, you know, Susie May. I just think that that's a decision I made, even in Texas, where people say, you know, have this thought that like it's all red, it's all scary. I know that there are places where I can feel safe, and so I just made that decision. And when I did interviews, I made sure to sprinkle in my husband somewhere and everything because I'm just being honest. I don't want you to hire me if you think me talking about my husband is a problem. Do not hire me because I need to
Yeah.
be able to do that, you know. And so for queer people, I just want you to be safe and advocate where you can. And I just would challenge you to find your community, find your people, because it is out there. There is a community, an education. There is a school that will love and accept you for all of the great things that you bring to the table, and you don't have to sacrifice that to exist as a teacher. So that's what I have to say to that. I think if you're on the other end and you're an ally, uh, then I'm like, I need you to speak out. You know, whenever you are hearing your 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 bestie that's queer that like is complaining that there's something's wrong, you've got to use that privilege and leverage it to speak out. Uh, because people are going to listen, and I think you said like in places where like things are challenging. I just think there's minutia there. Like if you have a principle, like you might live in a state that has conservative politics where uh, it's kind of like a battleground, but maybe in your community you can say something. Maybe in your principal you can say something. Maybe at your school board you can say something. Just depending, and you just got to find the place that you can make a difference, and then do what you can to make it. Whether that be speaking out or modeling and changing your lesson to be more inclusive and things like that. But just doing what you can where you can and then being safe. I think that's my perspective and thoughts.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that, Danny. And appreciate this
Thank you.
chat. And I really hope that we can chat more about different stuff, whether it's social media or, you know, grunge. So, but we don't, listeners, don't you worry. We're going to be back with Danny and also Spiccato after the break.
Hey, we just want to take a quick moment to shout out Mission Trails Financial, the partner making this show possible at no cost to you. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by financial planning, you're not alone. But Mission Trails Financial is here to make things simpler. They offer tailored financial advice for you, from investments to tax and insurance planning, with a team of experienced fee-based advisors who are CFP designated and fiduciaries. That means they're putting your best interests first. Let's face it, navigating the world of finances can feel like drinking from a fire hose with endless options for investments just a mouse click away. But Mission Trails Financial aims to cut through the noise by breaking things down into clear, actionable steps while providing regular updates. Mission Trails Financial believes everyone has the right to work with a financial advisor regardless of how much you've saved. Mission Trails Financial's focus is building a relationship so you are not traveling your financial path alone. They even help you keep track of old 401ks when you're transitioning between jobs, because your financial future should always stay on track, no matter what changes. So don't wait. Let Mission Trails Financial show you how to make that next step towards the future you've worked hard for. Plus, your first consultation is absolutely free. Just visit missiontrailsfinancial.com or call 619-419-0238 today. You'll be glad you did, because leaning on professionals like Mission Trails Financial is how we get ahead. Check out the program notes for more details. Advisory services offered through New Edge Advisors LLC, a registered investment advisor.
And welcome back. But before we continue with this episode, a hard left turn. Thank you all so much for being a part of this 7-season journey. Woo! Whether you joined us back in episode 0 with Lauren Shelton, or right now with Danny because you love Danny and wanted to support Danny. Thank you all so much. But it means a lot if you could just support the things you love. Like if you want this thing to keep on rolling past 7 years, like this thing is a labor of love. So please make sure you support things you love. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/chclassroom, where you can get special merch and also some ideas for the classroom. And I think next week or in 2 weeks, still figuring out, we're hoping to update the Patreon so that it gives more options for people to join. And even, there's also going to be a $0 tier as well for you to join as ways to just connect with y'all. More information soon. But if you don't have a coin to toss our way, that's okay. I get it. But there are free ways to support us. You can go to youtube.com where you can see our Chuggy episode this season. Or this episode, not the season. This episode and What?
Chubby.
No, chuggy, chug. Yeah,
Oh,
phrase rate
chuggy.
drops.
Okay.
No, I'm not. No. Well, I lost my train of thought. There we go. Yeah. So go to youtube.com. I know you have a Gmail. It's not like back in the 2000s where like you had to actually be part of a membership. You can just get on YouTube. Just like, subscribe. There are easy ways to do this. Also go on Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. Or Spotify, but Apple is the way you can actually like write stuff out. Michelle is still the last person to have written a review. So please break that streak for her. She's awesome. Break that streak for her. All these small ways are ways you can help support and make sure the mics and lights stay on so we can keep on doing this thing we love. Whew. Speaking of Michelle, by the way, Danny, I've asked the peeps for a shout out, and your whole ORF group wanted to give a shout out to you on this episode. So
Nice.
shout out to you, Danny.
Thank y'all. Thank you.
Central Texas, is that what it is?
Yeah, Central Texas. No, Central Area ORF. Oh my goodness, I remember.
ORF. Let me pull up her actual message that she asked me to send. Because I was asking people. Yeah. Oh, Capital Area ORF.
Oh, you're right. Capital Area ORF. Oh my goodness.
It's all good.
No.
The good, the bad, the ugly of Type B is not remembering your own handle. That's my bad.
So a shout
my
out
bad, Capital
Area ORF, and they want to say that we love you, even if you begrudge sometimes. That's what I said, but
No, it was in there. It was subliminally messaged. It was in the yeah.
There we go. And on to our Spiccato. So I don't know if we've done this before, but it's too hard not to do. These things, man, these things that were the most high-tech things of the 90s and have gone away since probably 2008. CDs.
Oh.
Compact
oh my goodness.
Discs.
Oh goodness.
Man, these were the days, man. I still did you guys make playlists, like burn CD playlists back in the day? No.
Yep.
I think I was right there on the turning point of like having an iPod and like the iPhone, like right there on the cusp, like right there. Like CDs existed. My mom had them and we were listening to them in the car, like, but I wasn't really but like I just don't think I was a teen during that time, like so I wasn't burning my own. Like I was going on LimeWire and then putting it on my iPod to listen to.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
That's another classic.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, we know what you're talking about, but it's like we didn't do it. We just saw people do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, to the youngins in the crowd, it's compact discs. This could store up to 700 megabytes. 700 megabytes could be stored on this bad boy. And they are
so
shiny.
Small.
And no, and so we made burned CDs off of it, and also that's where our music was, and also games were placed on. It's a foreign concept, I get it, but like that's what these things are. So what would you do with a CD in a classroom?
Well, I did just throw a bunch away. I'm just kidding. I was just like, what are these doing in here? No, for classroom inspiration, there's something about the double concentric circle of it all. Like maybe you could hold one up and be like, we're about to play a game. And here's the two circles. You're the inner circle. You're the outer circle. I think if you really wanted to get your kids into like throw back to the 90 early 2000s, like could you burn the kids a CD? Like, is that capability
That
still? Like,
still is
that'd be
there.
so fun. Have the kids create a playlist of like the songs of their that they love, and then burn it on a CD for them, or even if you just did it as like an idea, like if you didn't actually burn the
Or
CD.
Okay. Okay.
you could still burn a playlist of the songs they created and then
Ooh.
have them take it home to share with their families. And hopefully they have a CD player at home. They're kind of
Because
hard to come
the
by now.
laptops don't even have them anymore. I
I
know, it's so
know.
You
frustrating. It's like,
know,
how
you
can
have
I
to
even?
buy the separate
USB.
CD reader with and connect with the USB. Yeah, that was the last time I was able to burn a CD or play anything really. But that might be an idea, like record whatever, maybe your computer or phone, and then burn it onto the CD, and then they take it home, whatever they created in the classroom.
It'd be like a really cool little, like memory keepsake. Maybe even for
Yeah.
like your fifth graders that are graduating.
Get
Like that
these
would be
Yep,
things.
that's
fun.
it.
This thing. Plug
Our
in a
audio
laptop.
listeners,
Yeah.
John has exactly that device that we were just describing.
Man. I have a fond attachment. Sorry, Jamie. I want to. Were you sharing something before? Before I
No,
interrupt.
I was
Yeah.
just no. You
No.
go ahead. Go ahead.
But did you already share what you do with CD or no? Not yet.
Oh, you go first.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So for me, I like the playlist idea. So the thing that I loved making road trip playlists. That's actually something my brother and I like bonded off of. We initially were doing it on tape cassettes back in the day. But then, do you know what that is, Danny? Do you know what a tape cassette is, Danny?
I know what it is. I mean,
Wow.
I remember my big thing was I had a tape cassette thing that you would put into your car, and then it also had an aux cord that you could plug your phone
Yep.
into. So that was a big deal to
Yeah.
me, But like, yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, when we jumped over to CDs, like the thing that I loved about CDs and tape cassettes is that there's a limit. There's a limit of how many songs you can put in there because you can only have 80 minutes on a CD. And so,
Mm.
jumping off of what you shared, Danny, have kids create playlists, but there is a limit. It's not like it's just like my biggest thing about playlists on Spotify or any kind of listening app you have is just like people just dump whatever vibe you have, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a thing, that's an approach. But something that my brother and I really loved is how can we create a story with it? How can you create an emotive, like you start off with either a slow build up and then a dive down, build it
Mm.
back up, or like if it's for a driving through a specific setting, how can you convey the emotions as you drive through it? Again, with the build up, the decline, and the build up, so it conveys kind of story. I share this with a lot of people. Have you ever driven through California or no, Danny?
No,
Okay.
I've flown a couple times, but yeah, no,
One
never driving.
one day, one day. But Jamie, have you driven down to SoCal before or no?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
I have
you know the
a few
Grapevine,
times.
right? Yeah,
Yes.
so there's this place called the Grapevine. It's like this really steep area that's very curvy. It
It's
is
a
the
dead
barrier.
zone.
It's the barrier between SoCal and Central California. And
Okay.
for me, I'm listening to like I created this playlist that was very tumultuous. It just happened to be there, and then finally you hit Lucky Man by the Verve, and there's this open desert, and it's like the perfect hit where it's like freedom kind of thing. And so if kids could also find a way back to the students in the classroom, create a playlist that give me a setting, forest setting, give me a desert setting, give me or just anything. It doesn't have to be exactly physical, and
Ooh,
give me
okay.
something that gives tells a story, not just dump all the forest songs, but doing it in a creative way. Um, and then we can burn it together through this little device here.
Oh,
This
the whole
this
story.
Ancient.
ancient tech. No, just
Because I think there's something beautiful about limitations, and I think that a
yes.
lot of technology gives a lot of access, which is great, but it loses that sense of limitation, which then we as teachers need to create.
Hmm.
So
I was trying to just to clarify when I say it's a dead zone, as in like there's no barely any cell reception there, so you couldn't really stream anything on your devices anyway. Play a
Okay.
CD
That's true.
in
Yeah.
that on those roads. My idea had nothing to do with the actual purpose of of burning anything into the CD.
Okay. Okay.
So I was just thinking, how can you arrange it to make rhythm? Or how can you arrange it onto
Yeah.
a staff taped onto the ground, basically?
Ooh, yeah,
hmm
like little notes. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was also well, actually before that, I was thinking, oh, the kids are gonna use it as a frisbee.
I mean, that's what
Well,
we
I
did.
was literally just thinking because so I currently am playing a game that I learned at summer camp with my kids called Hot Feet, and it's like dodgeball. If you couldn't throw the ball, if you had to like roll it like a I don't know, like you had to roll it, and like so like the way you dodge it is by picking up your feet, like the ground's really hot to avoid getting like hit, and so the frisbee would slide really well on the ground. Because
Yeah,
I
it
use tennis
would.
balls and there's too much bounce on the tennis
Mm.
ball. So it got a little chaotic. So I'm pivoting and like I'm finding a less bouncy ball. But like I was like a frisbee, like if you step on the
Yeah,
if you step on it, but that would really, really hurt
If
to
it
buy a whole
pops.
thing of
yeah.
CDs just to
Exactly. It would. It would hurt. So I'm like, okay, first, this is how we're gonna play with it. Like, just put
yeah.
it in these squares or grid or whatever you use to
Mhm.
show like this is the rhythm, or put it on a like a simple, however many lines you want to use with children. Like, here's a low, here's a high pitch, or how do you arrange
Yeah.
it? How do you combine it? So things like that. And I mean, if you have so many CDs you never use, you don't have any CD players, here's a way to upcycle all the CDs
Yeah.
that you have or your
Manipulate it.
parents might have. hmm
Or Goodwill might have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
lot of yeah.
You could buy the CDs or you could. I like upcycling. The idea
Yeah.
of upcycling from like my grandparents don't use these anymore. So
Got you there. And
that's my idea.
what is your
It's
idea,
great.
listeners? If you have an idea, if you love Jamie's idea, love Danny's idea, or mine, feel free to email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom at gmail.com to share us your ideas on what you do with a compact disc or heck, DVD. I don't know. Those are also fading out as well. So, um, speaking of contacting, Danny, thank you so much for being a part of this. It's finally great to have an actual fluid, dynamic conversation with you, even when the whole thing chugs, not chubs, but chugs. But if people would like to contact you, Danny, how could they reach out to you?
Yeah, I mean, my handle is Danny Plans It. And that's plans like a planner, and then it's the little what do you call an article? The article IT. And I'm available. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. You can find me on YouTube Shorts, but not really. I'm not really active on YouTube. Although now I will be because there may be an episode of Chaotic Harmony. So you can contact me there. I mean, the DMs is really easy. I've always got my stuff on me, and I'll get to you as soon as I can. And also, like, of course, like any video you see that I post, give me a comment. Like, I love connecting with everyone, commiserating, sharing ideas, tips and tricks. I think that's the best way we can survive and make, elementary music education a better place, or just education in general. So stay commenting.
I want to actually jump on that. I feel like a lot of people, including myself, like when we see these people online post stuff, it's like, oh, like they're these, that's really cool, but to send them a DM is very nerve wracking. They're probably too busy, or like, y'all, we're just people. We're just people trying to make things work. So like, message us, like leave Danny
Yeah.
a comment or a Chaotic Harmony a DM. Send us some stuff. Like we love receiving your stuff. And yeah. So Danny plans it. Jimmy, how about you?
You can reach me at my new-ish email, ms.fun.jun.
ms.fun.jun.
Miss
Ooh.
Fun Done. Yes.
No dots, just ms.fun.jun, right?
Oh, I mean, I heard that on Gmail, on Google, you could add the dots. I type in the dots, miss.fun.jun at gmail.com.
Cool, cool. Awesome.
Now that it's a brand new email, I'll definitely not be spam as much, and I'll definitely see anybody sending me anything.
Cool. And you can find me at Mr. Seligman, MrSeligman, on Instagram, on TikTok, as well as on Blue Sky, mrseligman.bisky.social. And you can find us at CH Classroom on all the socials, the same socials as well. And if you want to do more traditional, you can email us chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com. If you want to send us a letter, we don't have that yet, but
No P.O. box?
No P.O. box. If you think we should get a P.O. box, if you want to send us, your kids' drawings, maybe that would be the idea. Post on air.
A fun Spiccato. Ooh, what would you
Just
do?
send all your old CDs so that we can use them.
To Jamie, what's your address? So you can send it to you, right? Anyway, thank you all so much for joining us. Danny, I know we'll have you again soon. You're awesome, and keep on
welcome it.
Yes.
Keep on doing the awesome things.
I'm glad we got to talk to you today. Yes.
And
Thank you, everybody.
Don't be afraid to send us a message, y'all. Bye.